30% of ultra high net worth clients might be in the US. So how many advisors understand the tax exposure that might create?
So most of the families that we are dealing with now, as in Nuvama, most of them have family members who are US. Some or the other person is a US member, or at least they have some assets in US, or there is a child in US, or they have some exposure in US. So when we started with this, in the sense when we started the entire practice and when we understood what clients need, we realized that actually not many advisors in India understand the true consequences of US applications. While some of them would give you a prima facie view, most of them may not be able to understand the real nuances, including some of the very niche laws in US, like anti-abuse law in US, etc. What we have done, in fact, is to actually work with US tax experts based in US, so that we get the true advice. So what basically, we have some Indian tax advisors here and we have a US tax advisor there. And the idea is to sync the advice in such a way that the client gets a true picture of the correct advice.
So Shweta, what's the single biggest opportunity that advisors miss because they think that their clients only operate within Indian borders?
When you think only about India, you are not diversifying your risk. And what risk I'm talking about, it could be political, it could be economical, it could be overall a geographical risk. So most of the clients now are actually thinking of geographically diversifying outside of India. Because when you think only about India, of course, most of the clients would have 70-80% of their concentration of wealth still in India. However, they are definitely exploring diversifying their portfolio and investing outside India. Now, when we think about investing outside India, it's not as simple because RBI has some capital controls. So what's the right way to invest outside India is very crucial for clients to understand. It depends on how you are structured in India. Okay, it depends on where the capital lies, in which entity, in which individual. And there are few options now which are available outside India where the clients can, where the clients can invest and explore this diversification. But the idea is, again, to structure it right. Don't do anything which, it might be like a short-term gain, but a long-term pain. So our advice always would be that do everything within the realm of law.
So Shweta, when a client's life, assets and heirs span 3 continents, what's the first thing to get right and the first thing that firms most often get wrong?
This is increasingly a kind of trend that we see, that the family is actually, the family members and the assets are spanned across continents. I think the first thing that families should do is to identify that one person who can coordinate the entire advice for the family, because it's practically not possible for one advisor to be expert in everything, and therefore the family should understand that there will be multiple advisors across multiple continents. So for example, if a family has assets, say, in US, Singapore, Dubai, I don't think they'll find one single person who can advise them on everything. So you need to find tax advisors as legal advisors in these 3 countries, say in US and Singapore and Dubai. And it will not be possible practically for a family, and that's in our experience, to coordinate across all of this. So you need that one advisor, to kind of coordinate the advice, sync the advice, weave in the entire advice together. And I think that solves the family's problems to a large extent. So that's the role actually we play in Nuvama as well. And I think families have been successful in structuring their, estate or I would say estate planning in this way. And you asked what families do wrong. I think the converse. I think if families try to they try to think that, we can do it all in-house, or, they might just hire some person in a jurisdiction and get everything from them. I think that doesn't work. The idea is to get the right advice, and I think families need to understand that these kind of planning is typically done once in the lifetime of the family. Of course, you may want to amend the structure at some point in time, but typically when you're creating a structure, it's for a long term. So the family should take care that they choose the right advisor in these continents, so that they can get the right advice. Yes.